While the film is utterly absurd and the actions that take place in the movie would make the world hang its head in shame and accept the end of the world, Armageddon does exactly what it's meant to do: entertain the stuffing out of you. My name is Jeremy, and I host Listening to the Movies on 101.7 Civil Radio or on www.civl.ca every Thursday night at 8 p.m. I play great film soundtracks, and last night, I played Armageddon. Mainly in part of honoring the recently deceased Michael Clark Duncan, I played Armageddon last night because it's a movie about a massive asteroid that is going to crash into the Earth, and instead of training fully qualified NASA astronauts to drill into an asteroid, Bruce Willis says he needs his unqualified, stubborn oil drillers to go up with him. They land on the asteroid, people die, but they still save the day. Typical Michael Bay film. This is actually his third major motion picture, and probably my second favorite, followed by The Rock. The cast is pretty huge, with Bruce Willis, Steve Buscemi, Keith David, Billy Bob Thornton, Liv Tyler, Michael Clark Duncan, and Ben Affleck in a performance he probably regrets and has had to rebuild his reputation from ever since. The special effects are quite impressive, and to be honest, I remember this film scared the crap out of me when it was released. The idea of how helpless we really are in the face of such a threat really got to me when I was a kid, and it still kind of shakes me right now. This film does show how much Michael Bay loves explosions, however, and Paris, China, and New York are all victims to Bay's want for explosions and mayhem. Sure, the idea is dumb and the character interactions are ridiculous, and the Ben Affleck / Liv Tyler romance makes you cringe from time to time. The film was a typical 90s blockbuster, and I love movies that involve space and asteroids. It's either this, or get really depressed watching Deep Impact. The soundtrack is decent and gets some great tunes. All of them, however, have been overplayed to death on the radio, and you know exactly which ones I mean. Sure, it sucks that I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith is their most popular song, and they have way more better songs in their catalog, but when you add a slow, dancing tune to a romantic story, it's going to set sail. If you haven't seen Armageddon, I'll leave it up to you if you want to watch it. It's a great watch if you don't want to look for any sort of deep story or character development, but in terms of disaster films, it is definitely one of the best ones I've ever seen. If you want to listen to the recording of the show, click the first link in the description. The Facebook page for the show is in the second link if you want to be up to date with what I play on my show. As for Michael Clark Duncan, he was one of my favorite actors growing up. Not so much of what he did, but because of who he was. He was the big awesome black dude. He was the only one who I cared about when I first watched Armageddon, and I really didn't want him to die. I didn't care about anyone else. I was like, please don't kill Bear, please don't kill Bear. His performance in Green Mile is definitely his best, and it still tugs at my heartstrings every time I see it. I played a clip from Green Mile, which was at the very end of the movie, just before the execution. Tom Hanks is asking Michael Clark Duncan what he will say to God when he asks him why he killed one of his miracles. It's a very, very touching scene. I'll miss you, big guy. Films are not going to be the same without you. Thanks for watching, guys.